Today I would like to show you the justification or, well, proof behind the right distribution property of vector multiplication. So it looks like this. If we have a plus b and then vector multiplication, which is the cross product, we have to show that this is identical to a cross product c plus, that's annoying, stop it, plus b cross product c. So this is called right distribution of cross product of vectors in the vector space. So how can we justify that, or, well, kind of prove this? Yesterday, we proved in our previous problem that if we can decompose the vector A into two components, A1 plus A2, where A1 is collinear to vector B and then A2 is kind of orthogonal to vector B, then our vector or cross product A and B is essentially equivalent to A2 is B, right? So, well, obviously because A1 is kind of collinear, that they annihilate themselves. So how can we use this property in order to prove the right distribution? Well, it's a little bit tricky and complicated, and it's definitely not something that would be obvious to the mind from the first glance, but let me demonstrate you. Let me just sketch a simple graph here to demonstrate how this is going to look like. So let's suppose we have a point P, and from this point we can, well, kind of depict a vector. Let's call this a vector C. Let me just do that like this. And then we have two more vectors, vector A and vector B. Let me demonstrate that. Like vector B, or let me make it a little bit longer, like this. All right, so this is the vector B, and this is the vector, this is the vector. I'm gonna add some arrows here. And then vector A. All right, so let's take a look first at the vector A and vector B. We can theoretically decompose them into two main parts. So the first one is A1 and, well, A2, technically speaking, but we don't need the A2 here. We just need A1. And A1 would be the vector which lies in our plane, right? And so let's say that A1 is the component of A, which is perpendicular to C. Yeah, so we can technically do that because these vectors are kind of arbitrary. So we can technically decompose any vectors into any possible vectors in space if their sum equals to this vector, right? So we can technically depict the following vector here. And then let's call this vector as vector A1, which is the component which is perpendicular to C, right? And then we can do the same thing for vector B. Let's say that is vector B1 somewhere here. This is vector B1, which is also perpendicular to C, and and it actually lies in the plane row. Let's call it row, and the point P actually belongs to its row. So A1, B1, moreover A1 plus B1 and point P all belongs to the same plane row. And A1 plus B1 is actually the vector which lies here, which is a diagonal vector A1 plus B1 right here. Okay, just like this. And then okay, so let me just actually make it a little bit longer like this. And then I'm gonna connect these two vectors, and this is gonna be the vector B1. We'll just moved here by parallel transition. So what else do we have? So let's designate this, let's denote this point as M, and this point is going to be called Q. All right, and what else do we have? We have pretty much everything here. We can also notice that the cross product of vector a1 and vector c would be perpendicular to both vectors a1 and vector c. And so let's designate this vector as a1 product c. And then there is another vector which is the product of b1 in the same way in c, which is perpendicular to b1 and c. b1 and c. Okay, so by parallel transition, we're gonna depict this vector like this, just right here, just like this. Here it is. We don't know if this angle is, if that's a right angle or not. We don't know this. This is probably not a right angle. This is just the angle theta. And that's pretty much it. But what we do know, though, is that this angle theta, actually, let me build up a triangle here, because it is a triangle. This point is R, and this point is going to be called S. Okay, that makes sense. What else do we have? We know the fact that RS over PR, that would be the magnitude of B1C over the PR, which is this side, is the magnitude of A1C, which equals B1. This is the magnitude. I'm going to simplify that, sine theta. And this is not the theta. Since they are orthogonal to each other, it's going to be 1 over A1C should be equal B1 over A1. Well, these are their magnitudes, actually. Right, these are magnitudes. And then that's going to be equal to, let's see, M1A1. M1A1. So this is MQ over A1, which is PM. Nice. And so we can conclude from here, this is equivalent RS over MQ. This RS over MQ is the same as PR over PM. It's PR over PM. Okay. So we have two proportional sides. Right. So if we know that one angle, at least one angle, is equal, then these triangles are similar. So by rotation by 90 degrees, we can show that this angle RPS, I think so, RPS should be equal to MPQ, because we are rotating them by 90 degrees, right? We're rotated A1 by 90 degrees, and then we rotated this vector, the sum of these vectors, essentially, by 90 degrees. Yep. So we rotated that one by 90 degrees as well. And we can conclude that this angle is actually equal. And the same for RSMQ, DRPM, and the same for other angles too. For example, the angle between them, the theta angle, is equal to this one because of rotation by 90 degrees. And because of this rotation, these angles are preserved. You can easily see that because sine of p over 2 plus theta, that actually should be the sine of, or cosine of, in this case cosine of theta. So this preservation remains true. So I mean, this angle should be true, should be the same. And given the fact that these angles are the same, what happened? We can conclude that these triangles are equal. Triangle RPS, sorry, not equal, but similar to triangle M, it's called MPQ. And if they are similar, and we know that PR is perpendicular to PM, PR is perpendicular to PM, and our MQ is perpendicular, sorry, PR, MQ is perpendicular to, what is there, R, MQ is perpendicular to R, S, right? Yes, RS. Then that follows that our PS should be perpendicular to our PQ. And PS equals to PQ cross product C. So what does that mean? It means that our PS equals PQ C. And at the same time, our PS is the sum of vectors A1 cross product C plus B1 cross product C. And our PQ is essentially A plus B. A1 plus B1 C equals A1 C plus B1 C, which is equivalent to saying A plus B C equals A cross product C plus B cross product C because of this property that I mentioned in the beginning. This is the perpendicular component of the vector. So this has been proved now. So this is the proof of right distribution property and the cross product of different vectors. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below, because I personally had the issues with understanding of this problem when I first saw that myself.